All right. Nice to meet you finally.
Same here.
Yes. So let's talk about why we're here.
Absolutely. First, thank you so much, Councillor Haliru, for coming to have this chit chat. I really wanted someone, who has walked the journey that I'm about to walk, or in fact started walking already. So this means a lot to me, and I thoroughly appreciate it.
Awesome. So let's sit down and have this chit chat then.
Sure.
So right now, I understand you have made up your mind, you have taken your form, and you're about to run in Ward 4.
Correct.
In Milton.
Yes.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It is not an easy decision to make. And so tell us a little bit about you and why you chose to run.
Sure. My name is Naomi Bazoye, and I chose to run because there are issues that I want to lend my voice to. And for the last couple of years, I've had this right in the center of my heart. However, it was just visiting the town council, attending the meetings, just knowing what could be better. And, attending those meetings, I realized that they're setting things that needs improvement, especially in the town of Milton. But then, speaking with families every day, I realized that, okay, this runs deeper. There is an urgency, and it's just no longer sitting behind and thinking somebody else is taking the lead and I'm just going to listen. I'm like, okay, something has to be done, and he's not sitting back for somebody else to do it. Yes, so I have to take that lead. Yeah. It's been in my heart. My heart is in the right place to do this, and I believe this is the right time to do it.
And I tell you, that is exactly how it feels.
Yeah.
At some point, you are no longer waiting for someone else to be the solution provider, right? So many of us find our places in that leadership that you naturally have. If you find yourself in a place where you naturally have the confidence and you have the leadership capability, you see the problems, and you have been a member of the community by going to see how solutions, are provided in your community. And then you understand the process. And that's why I encourage people to be a part of their communities. Wherever you are, volunteer, attend meetings, because that's the only way that we can be part of our communities and contribute to our communities. And once you have that and you kind of see the roadmap, you feel like, I could actually lend my voice, because without us being at the table, we're on the menu.
That's correct.
And I want everyone to understand that we need to step up every opportunity that we have to rise up and put our names forward so that we truly can have a voice at the table, because our perspectives matter. Our solutions are different. And when we bring them to the table, they're actually like in awe of how we think. We come from a very unique, dynamic experience. We come across oceans, and when we bring solutions to the table, they're very different. And so we do need to at least contribute to that process. And I want to really thank you for stepping up. So ask me any questions and I'm willing to share what I think I can.
Honestly, I would love to know how you ran and how you won as a sitting councillor. I totally would love to know.
Very good question, which is what I love to share to give people some hope. It is a very simple question. You ask yourself, in my case, I was the first Black, first Muslim, and even maybe the second woman that would consider running for council at the time on our council. It was a daunting task to think about that. But I had to think about it. Like, I knew I had my solutions. I knew I had the confidence to do it. I knew I had the ability. But then I also felt, I wasn't sure if they would be ready for me. But what I want to tell you is that running for council doesn't start the day you run for council. Running for council starts many years before. When I found myself in my community, I started to volunteer. I started to share in social media. When George Floyd happened, I stood up and asserted myself to correct racism online. I basically called out anyone that was either Islamophobic or racist, and I actually found my voice. Whether they liked it or not, I stood up for what I believed in, and I made sure that nobody was going to be able to bully me in my community. And it resonated with a lot of people who felt there was some kind of cleaning up happening in the community. And then I had a shop, just like you, where you meet people every day and, people get to ask you the questions. Why do you look like that? Why do you dress like that? How come you talk like that? Did you grow up in this country? Did you school in this country? Because a lot of times immigrants, bring their personas and perspectives, and the average Canadian doesn't understand why we're different or what our experiences are. So it took me over 8 years of educating my customers, educating and making friends about who we are as Nigerians, who we are as Africans, who I am as a Muslim. And I think the more they get to know you, the more they trust you.
Yes.
And so building that relationship over the years, contributing to my community, feeding the needy, contributing to, anything that had to do with elevating our community allowed people to really see me for who I am. So I say to people, when you want to run for the election, it's not about rising up that time. It's about knowing whether you've already done the work.
Yes.
You will have a shop, you're building the relationships, you're seeing people, you're hearing people, you have the confidence, you feel like when you go, you stand up for them. That's what it takes to run. And even when you run and you don't win, the fact that you tried and you actually become the voice of the people, that is the next step that you want to take in the direction of really solving problems. But I know you're going to win because you sit in a location where there's a need. And if you become the voice and can champion your people, I know you're going to win it.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. So another amazing question I would really love an answer to. How has it been in council in the last 4 years? What are the challenges? I would love you to share.
Yes. Definitely there are challenges. As you know, wherever you go and you're the only one, it's taken a sense of, pride to be the first person to represent your community. But it's also been a very challenging experience because we all know that when we work in places and we find ourselves in spaces where we're the only ones, it takes a certain courage to sit in that room and actually still have your shoulders up high and still have a voice. So it has been challenging because when you bring your perspective to the table, it's always new and it will always be met with resistance. And that is where your confidence and your ability to relate to people, ability to share your perspective in a very respectful way comes along. And I will say to you, one of the things that I know I did for myself was knowing that my experience even in the corporate world was being the only woman in a team of 48 men. And I know what it took for me to build the confidence and relationships with everyone by one-on-one interactions, calling people to the boardroom, having that little rapport. And I know that it is very easy for people to love you in the beginning. The moment they get to know who you are, your confidence, your abilities, a tendency to have timidness in some people or intimidation, feelings from some people sets in. And that's when you're being blocked over and over for whatever you want to do. So what I did was I put all my emotions through in the beginning. Everything I promised on the campaign trail, I put it on right like that. And when I was being seen to be, oh my God, nice. Oh, that's a nice idea. That's beautiful. I got things through. And now I'm being blocked for the last couple of years from doing a lot of things. But those are things that were, for me, the less priority things. The major things, I look back in 4 years now and I can tell you that I have most of my motions passed than any other councillor. And that is a testament to us again as immigrants, as people of minority, trying to prove ourselves over and over that we are capable and we can. And I feel like the gratitude for me when I leave is that I showed that we could, that I showed that we deserve that opportunity, that I showed that we deserve the respect, and that we're capable and we're knowledgeable enough to handle these positions. So I think that has made it worthwhile, but it has been challenging. Just seeing people just really, when they don't want to understand you, just kind of just kick you out and just knock off your ideas. I have even been penalized for standing decisions and actually apologizing to the community on social media because I'm the only one who had a community page that was official than my personal page. Forgetting that I'm the only immigrant who didn't grow up here. I couldn't have used my personal page for the elections because I have people in Africa. I lived in Europe and in the US. I didn't feel like I needed to put my town's business on my personal page, which they all do. But when we come from professional backgrounds, we feel like we need a special space. But that in itself was intimidating. That, oh, you're making it like you're only having this special page you're talking about Ingersoll on. And, it takes really people to just let their guards down to realize that there was no harm in that. But even just something as simple as that was oppressive. And so you have to be careful. You're not going to find it easy. You're not going to have your ideas just accepted. But you have to have the confidence and the ability to kind of weather, explain, but finding a friend on council, someone who's as maybe educated, who can relate and have a quiet support for you is key.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Yes.
Thank you. And it's really encouraging to know that even when the challenges come, we can weather it through. And I totally love how you stand for truth. You can never go against the truth. And it's good to hear your story and see that you are succeeding.
Yes,
and so it means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. So I have one final question, which is, are you running again?
Well, it's May 2nd. I haven't picked my form yet. So I made up my mind early this year that I would not be running again because I have accomplished everything that I promised that I would do. Plus, I've learned through this experience that we give so much more than we are appreciated for. And then when I compare what I was able to do as a civilian contributing in my community, for example, I ran 2 years in a row a festival called the Diversity Festival. Just as a private citizen, knowing that there's no diversity in my town, I brought people together and I pulled people out to realize that we had such diversity in Ingersoll. And we did the fair. The first year, it was great. Second year, we did it. I invited council to open up the ribbon. And the only lady on council then said to me, next time, Khadija, come to council so we do this together. And I said to her, why don't I be on council next year? So it was a joke that ended up being I ran and I won. But on council, I created the first diversity committee based on that idea that I was able to bring people together. And we passed it. Very, very harshly passed because the mayor didn't want it. But we passed it. And through that committee, I thought we would continue the work of our diversity in town. But as we all know, diversity has become such a painful and oppressive word. And we have not, in my 4 years, been able to do a diversity fair, even though I was invited to come and actually make it bigger. But when you come to the table and they see the power in some of these things, it becomes intimidating to people who are not very comfortable. And then I realized that I was actually more successful doing things in the community outside of, power.
Yeah.
Because it's a chess game. You're going to go in there, you're going to either want to play the chess game or not. And I know I have fellow councillors who are quite educated also, who feel the same way, that it wasn't as simple as coming and trying to solve these problems. It was about, trying to really pacify some people.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've learned enough to go out and educate others on how to go in and actually make a difference, because I did make a difference. And I'm not about the time that is wasted playing politics. And that's why I feel I would rather be much more effective out there, focusing on helping people get in and teaching people what to do and not to do. So I won't be running again.
That's amazing. Sad that you wouldn't be running, but I totally love that what you intended to do, you did it.
Yes.
That is a win. And that is amazing. One more thing, just for my benefit and the benefit of those that are running, give me 5 top things that we should know as we are running.
Awesome. If you're in the Black Opportunity Network, you know that there's 5 things that I've been teaching. We've done council sessions 4 times in the last 4 years to prepare people to run for office. And the 5 things that I've said is, 1, you have to be everywhere. So it's late in the game now for anyone because it's election time. But what we've taught is that you have to make sure that you've been everywhere. You've been in your community volunteering, whether it's a PTA, whether you're on a board of something, try to get somewhere in there and let people know who you are, introduce yourself, and businesses like you naturally have people coming in. So just making sure people know who you are. And then secondly, you really want to make sure that people know what you stand for. You have passion pain points that you talk about regularly. And people know that, oh my God, Khadija is always talking about doing this and something like that. And then when it's time for election, which you are now, you've taken your form, you've asserted yourself, you're going to run. What I did and what really helped me, especially in a community where you don't know everybody, I counted about 25 friends that I felt were my friends. And I held a private breakfast. And I asked every single one of them in that room to tell me why they think I would win. Okay. And as a member of the minority community, I needed that gossip to go out.
Yes.
And so when I finished and I asked, every single person told me why they thought I would win or I should run, why they believed in me. It pumped me up.
Yes.
And it gave them a reason to go out and say the same thing.
Amazing.
So when we come from this minority community, you got to play strategically.
Yeah.
So going out with those tentacles, those become your tentacles. Where someone is saying something negative, they'll be like, no. You don't know her.
Yeah.
I know her. And this and this and this. And then 5 people hear that. And guess what? They take that away again and say, you know what? I know someone who knows her. And maybe they think, and that's how your name will spread from when you don't know anyone.
Yes.
I did that and I know it helped me. And then I also had a fundraising dinner. Okay. I'm a Nigerian. I was proud of my heritage and I did a jollof rice dinner. And it was a $50 ticket to come eat this jollof rice and chicken. And the few people that came, it was a chance to listen to them. Those that truly wanted to come and say, hey, this is what we need to do in this town. This is what my problem is. It gave me a chance to hear people out. So you felt the spirit of the town. Yes. And they felt like they were contributing to your campaign. Yes. And then because I wasn't very popular, when you get your campaign money, no matter how small, go do your first 50, 100 or 500 signs and start putting them out in the major areas of town. Not in people's yards, but in the major entry of every single corner of your town. If it's your ward, put them where, as people are driving, they're seeing you. Yeah. And because I did that, I was in those major entry points into our town. I didn't have people asking me yet. But because people started seeing them, I started getting calls. Can I have a sign in my house? Can I have a sign in my house? And that's how I actually found people that actually wanted my sign in the house. And the last tip is making sure, because you're the only minority candidate to have your face on your sign. I was the only one who had my face on my sign. Just proudly putting it out there. I'm your diversity candidate. Vote Khadija Haliru because diversity matters. Yeah. And I think as long as we're proud of who we are, proud to showcase who we are and present ourselves with that confidence, anyone who puts themselves out there like that should win and can win.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
I'm so proud of you. And I know you're going to run.
Thank you.
You're going to win.
Thank
you.
You're
going to sit in that seat and win all the challenges because, the better, the more people come forward, the better it's going to be because we're going to hear and share and hear and share and more people are going to find it easier and easier.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for having this.
Can you give us the Milton sign?